Hey there! What's happening, guys? Fat baby checking in? That's right. Jack lesbian checking in? That's right. What else you guys got for me, huh? Is that the best you got? Yeah? Anyways, holy shit, I'm bleeding. Oh gosh. In this video, we are back with the nerd of peace, the one and only Eric Helms of 3D Muscle Journey, on some more interesting topics. Refeeds and carb cycling. We talked a little bit about that in the last video, I think, just a little bit. But we'll be talking about each of those topics even more in depth in this video. We're going to talk about peri-workout nutrition, your nutrition before and after your workout, protein timing, boluses versus every 2 hours versus every 5 hours, etc. Oh yeah, and BCAAs. We'll also be talking about this topic of separating your cardio from your weight training. Interesting, right? Should you be separating it, or does it really matter at all? And wow, look at them nipple hairs. Jesus. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Fat baby checking out.
That the leaner you get, the longer you've been dieting, and the lower your calories go, the more essential refeeds become. Sometimes people do better with once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, sometimes twice a week. In the beginning of a prep, you could probably get away with it and not do it. I mean, like Jeff and Brad, for the longest time, never used refeeds. And they got shredded just fine. And they were cool with getting down to, Brad used to get down to the hundreds grams of carbs, I don't think he got below the high 2s or 3s, since we've all kind of shared each other's philosophies.
Yeah.
And the difference was he started using refeeds, and he still gets freaking skimmers. So
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an absolute necessity. It may just allow you to keep your calories higher throughout. It's basically a little stimulus of, oh, I have higher calories, so your metabolism theoretically doesn't crash as much.
Okay.
The amount that you need is different for everybody. Refeeds will halt fat loss acutely, but hopefully will stimulate it long term. It's like taking a standstill to take 2 steps forward. Is probably the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
So for me, I found purely by trial and error of actually dieting for a show and then binging on Saturday, and then Sunday sometimes as well, and then just going back to my regular numbers that I was stalled at the week before, and all of a sudden I lose like 2 pounds and get leaner.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I noticed this in 09. I competed in April, and I was basically stuck at 190, and then I got down to 188 in the week after my show and looked much leaner from eating out after my show on Saturday and going back to the same numbers that I was stalled at the week prior. And then it happened again in May, and again in June, and again in July before I was able to, myself, Lane, and Alberto were like, okay, there's something to this. And we started doing high days and low days, and then it was clockwork.
Yeah. It just seemed like it worked.
2011, it wasn't just this banging my head against the wall trying to figure out how the hell do I consistently lose fat. It was just, I have a 500 day every week, and then my low days are 150. And then to get really lean, I had to go low days to 100, and I kept my high day at 500. But that same time frame, if I'd been at 250 the whole time, and I'd seen it from prior years, I'd get stalled.
Yeah.
It depends on the person. I would say the average person probably like once a week, multiply your low day carbohydrate intake by like 1.5, and that can be a refeed. But that's pretty generic.
Yeah, very generic. All right, we got a question from Scott, and I think this is a cool question because it's different from diet here.
Okay.
In your, you recommend to pretty much all your clients that if you can separate your workouts from your cardio, that you'd want to do so. Work out in the morning, put your cardio at night instead of hitting after your weights. Why do you think that's more optimal than just doing it back to back?
I've actually seen people speculate on why I suggest that, and someone was talking about like different cellular signaling if you do like cardio after weights and interference and all this stuff. It's actually quite simple. It's very simple actually. Okay. If you do cardio before weights, you might be tired.
Yeah.
If you do weights before cardio, you might be tired. That's really it. I would prefer you to have full amount of energy before you hit the gym in terms of weights, And if you're going to be trying to burn more calories in a time window of cardio, I'd prefer you have more energy to put into cardio. That's I mean,
Okay.
that's it.
That's really it.
Yeah.
No metabolism tricks here. Like
There are some now. Even though I mentioned them, there are some minor things that show that's from like cellular signaling that it may interfere with lean body mass gains if you do cardio afterwards, and it's significant. And there is some evidence that doing the same amount of cardio but spread out over the day will burn a few more calories, because basically you have to if you burn more gas if you're in start-stop traffic,
Yeah, true.
because it takes more to get the car running.
Yeah.
In terms of energy than it does to keep it going. So if you have to get your body up to a moderate intensity steady state a couple times over the course of the day, you might burn, in small amounts though, you might burn a little more calories that might add up over a long prep. So I would rather have you, instead of going from a high heart rate after doing legs and then keeping it there for cardio, maybe having to restart that process on a different day or a different time, we might burn an extra, few calories. So it's those few minor mechanistic things, but the big picture of just, I want you to have energy for both and not to just be like asleep on the elliptical, barely moving your feet, and that's supposedly being an interval session, or you deciding to do intervals and then afterwards trying to do legs and you're like, barely doing bodyweight squats. So
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's more and more important when your energy levels get low from prep. I mean, I remember there was a time in 2009 where I had to give myself a pep talk to get up, walk across the room, and get my client folder and go train my personal training client and put on the smiley face, and then I also have to go, squat like 3 plates for 5 reps and then do cardio afterwards. So it's kind of like,
God.
you got to pick your spots.
Yeah. BCAAs. BCAAs. Hey, are they necessary for cutting? While cutting?
They're not necessary.
Okay, so a lot of people know that it seems you do recommend them for competitive bodybuilders who are extremely serious.
Yep.
Do you recommend them to the general public who's bulking? What do you think?
I think the first thing is the word supplement definitely indicates it's not necessary, right?
True.
Yeah, it's supplementary.
True.
The reason why I like to recommend BCAA post and pre-workout sometimes, especially for my competitors, is because there's some data that if you're depleted of glycogen, it will delay fatigue taken pre. And as you might have heard from many of the current guys in the field talking about it, there's a paper coming out that I'm writing with Peter Fitchen and Alan Aragon, and there's another paper that Alan Aragon is working on. Brad Schoenfeld, who's another competitive bodybuilder, who's working on his PhD.
Yeah.
On PeriWorkout nutrition, basically eating stuff around your workout, and when does the protein matter, how much, all this stuff, and I don't think there's a clear answer. If anyone is making extremely definitive answers about it, I think they're probably reaching. So there is definitely some evidence that different feeding types and amounts of leucine and dosings around a workout, whether it's fasted or not, or you ate there's definitely some discussion there, but I feel confident that if you took 5 grams of BCAA pre and post workout, any potential minor, slight theoretical benefit you could get from eating protein at the right time around your workouts would probably occur. Even if they're not there, it's kind of something. I'm not 100% sure on the PeriWorkout thing, and we're still writing reviews and looking at research and debating it. And I just went to a presentation by Vernon Coffey, who's the third author on this recent thing that popped up in 2012 called it was basically protein feedings after a workout. And I think Lane Norton was talking about it because he felt that it confirmed some of his research, and it was basically guys taking different spacings of feeding of whey protein immediately after training for a 12-hour window and seeing, was a bolus better of 1 thing at 80 or 2 things at 40 or 4 things at 20 in the same amount, different schedule, different time window. Yeah. And there were some different effects. That doesn't tell you a whole lot, but it tells me that we don't know anything for definite, and I'm pretty damn sure if we can get a leucine spike pre and post workout, we're probably good. So it's more of a For pre, it makes sense. I think if you're depleted, it might help delay time to fatigue. For post, it's more of an insurance policy.
Okay.
But definitely not required. Definitely not as important or as effective as something, say, like creatine, I would say. There's, for all the arguments you've heard before, a high protein diet that most bodybuilders are following from mostly high quality sources has plenty of branch chain. Definitely not something that is a must have.
Okay. Ooh, sorry. Back to diet. Sorry.
Give it to me.
What are some tips for people looking to lose fat that have really slow metabolisms? Obviously, apart from more cardio, high intensity, calorie deficit. Specifically, this guy bulks at like 2,500 calories. He has no hormonal problems. Checked his blood work. He's fine. What are some tips for him to get to really low body fat or stage body fat? He thinks he has a pretty slow metabolism.
The first thing I would try is to very slowly walk your food up. So try like just adding 5 grams of carbs per week.
Okay.
And see how high you can get it without weight gain.
Okay.
Might be surprised that you can get it decently high. That will set the stage to having as fast a metabolism as your body will allow you before you cut. Next thing I would try was I would try to have a refeed from the very beginning. Have a high carb day, say once a week at roughly your maintenance your maintenance carb intake.
Okay.
And see if that allows you to lose more consistently, and then also lean on cardio. And if you're going to do a lot of cardio, I would focus on some intensity, high intensity interval sessions, maybe 1 or 2. Don't let it interfere with your legs, leg training. And then a decent amount of low intensity sessions just to burn more calories. Maybe focus on cycling and some other things that have shown to be less damaging to hypertrophy training. Okay. And be patient. It's going to take time.
Okay. There's some other ones, but they're like really. We probably covered most of these. I don't want to take more of your time because you've already spent a good hour here.
Wow.
Damn.
Time flies when I talk to you, man.
Time flies. Who do you think is going to win, Jones versus Ogus? One person says.
Who do I think is going to win, Jones versus Ogus? I want Ogus to win because he's my boy.
Oh.
But I think it's going to be a really cool competition, and it's always fun to speculate about this stuff in bodybuilding because there's no defense,
Very true.
All Chris and Matt can do is just get in the best shape of their life, and then let the judges decide. And I'm sure they're both going to shake hands and enjoy the process afterwards. And it'll just be my honor to be a part of it. And that's my extremely political answer.
Good job trying to avoid the hate mail.
Matt's gonna tear you apart, bro.
Gonna get some get some hate mail. But alright, let's see what else I got. Let me random one. What do you do if you're still hungry after all of your macros at the end of the day?
People love to ask me questions when they think there actually is an answer to something, like I'm going to tell them there's some magic no calorie food. This one is sack up. Read a book and go to sleep and keep dieting. It's not, just because there's better ways to do this doesn't mean the bodybuilding isn't hard. It's hard. Love it. Yeah. You're going to be hungry. Deal with it.
Oh, okay, actually, I got a cool one right here. What's your opinion on carb cycling throughout the week? Cycling carbs throughout the week.
I think.
Is there any because there's people there's straight up people that swear upon it, like it's the shit, like you have to do it, like it's more optimal for sure. They say. Yeah. What do you think?
Totally, and I think the people who are really, really behind carb cycling are seeing the benefits of refeeds.
Yeah.
When you think about it, if you're doing 1 or 2 refeeds a week, you might as well be carb cycling. You have 5 low days, 2 high days.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could make 2 of those low days really low days, and one of the refeeds even higher, and then you'd be basically carb cycling. But I would tell the people who are trying carb cycling to just try maybe something a little more steady. Try maybe 5 or 6 days that are.
Hey, quit being a little bitch! Ogus cake!